Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Welcome to the realm of education. Was I being educated up there in that tree? You're darn right I was. No, I didn't have a blackboard. There wasn't any teacher, but I was learning about how the ants work together. Education isn't something that needs to be done in a school. There's a whole lot of experiences that we can use out here to educate ourselves. In this video, you'll find out about how to do it through nature, through music, and through art. Keep on watching to find out.
What do you think about the school?
I think Santa Laurencia is moving in the right direction. We've still got a lot of the old baggage, if you like, of the traditional Indonesian education system, but we are moving in the right direction despite those constraints. For the students, I think that in the past maybe we've concentrated a little bit more on rules and regulations rather than what the student learning experience is, and I'd like to see us trying to redress that balance. But overall, I find it a very friendly place to work. I enjoy working with the majority of our students, and despite the things that I've just mentioned, actually our students are a very cheerful bunch.
How would you connect Indonesian culture to school life?
Yeah, one of the big cultural impacts on English teaching in any Indonesian school at the senior high school level is the inherent shyness, which is a specific cultural attribute of students in this part of the world from the age of about 14 to 20. And many students feel inhibited in speaking English in the classroom or any other learning situation unless they're sure that what they say will be absolutely 100% correct. And of course, it's impossible to learn a language if you can't allow yourself to make mistakes, because by making mistakes, that's how we learn a language. So that's one of the negative impacts of local culture. However, there are some very positive impacts. For the most part in this part of the world, people have a lot of respect for education and for educators in general. And I find that as a teaching professional, I have more respect, more status, more value in the society here than I probably would back home in the UK.
Students spend hours every day just getting to school. That in itself is an education. And then what happens at school? They're told to line up, straight lines, nothing else. Chinese class is much the same, as you can see. Although a little more rowdy and the students participate a little more, it still is a highly teacher-centric class. At Santa Laurencia, they have a different approach on how to learn science.
We Yang banyak-banyak bantuin.
Biar catnya banyak kelihatan nanti.
More. Yellow and blue.
Ya, splash. Yang banyak. Now, put the block.
Taruh baru splash.
As opposed to drawing it on the blackboard, learning it, they add another step. In this step, the students are required to perform the experiences in a large fair called a science fair. And while doing this, they must be knowledgeable in the subject. This allows the students to look much farther than just the paper that their experiment is on. Not only is the science fair a success in terms of an educator, but it's also a success in terms of the student themselves. As you can obviously see, the students are enjoying it thoroughly. Not only are they learning, but they're having fun. And having fun is a key, a gateway to learning.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the organizer of Science Fair.
Yes, it did. The theme was the magic of science.
And did the students have to do any project?
Yeah, they did a whole bunch of projects. Some were involved in the curriculum, and others were more on an independent study.
What was your favorite project?
One of my favorites was a bunch of students who were looking at biodiesel, which could replace gasoline in a few years. It was just a very environmentally conscious project.
And did anyone win a prize?
Yeah, they had many categories of prizes. There was one for the best presentation, there was a prize for the best family project, and then several games which also involved prizes and a science quiz. A museum is a good place to experience the days of year. The days when life was more simple, wasn't so complicated. As you can see, this museum in Indonesia has many examples of past civilizations and cultures.
In Museum Wayang, here we can see Wayang. Basically, Wayang is a puppetry performance that includes music and puppetry. Basically, there are two kinds of Wayang. One called Wayang Goreng, made from wood, and the other one Wayang Kulit, made from leather. The one beside me is Wayang Goreng, and as you can see, I'm looking to the Wayang Kulit now. This is the example for Wayang Kulit, made from leather. And next to me here, we can see the material that used to make the Wayang Kulit. The Wayang performance usually is an elaboration between music and puppetry. The music instrument that we use is the one behind me. It's made from bronze instruments called gamelan.
Not only does music have to be about learning, but it can also be about having fun. Here you can see a few high school students taking some time to enjoy what they learned in music class and using it for their own creativity. Rock and roll is a release of the imagination, a release of your angers, and none can do it better than teenagers. This holiday has two purposes: to make people aware of women's role in society, as well as bringing a lot of the culture of Indonesia to the forefront. Now, as you can see, all the children are dressed up as they would be if they were from different parts of Indonesia. This in itself is a learning process that's very important for them, as they are reliving or role-playing what they would normally learn in a book. Just by watching animals, we can learn about how they are. We can learn about what food they eat, how they move, what they do all day. These are important things, and nowhere can you learn this better than at a zoo.
Okay. Miss Siobhan, what is this about?
This is a project we made. It's our pirate ship. It's about the senses and us. This is about a group of pirates who have very good senses. They have good eyes, good ears, and they like roast chicken. They like to sail the seas and find treasure. Hope you like our projects.
Here you can see children creating posters. With these posters, they not only reinforce their motor skills, but they also develop strong awareness of the messages that they're presenting. In this case, they're presenting no to drugs. And through creating a poster of this, they will have consolidated that message in their brain, as well as had fun doing it.
Yeah.
where the mind is without fear.